Hey everybody, welcome back to the Old Swedes Farm. It's Rich. I got my neighbor Tom out here, and Tom has graciously invited me to come along out, do some corn harvesting. We, as you saw in the last video, Tom was out working the fields right around our house, and I know nothing about, maybe I'm like some of you, I know nothing about what goes on with the machine and where does the corn go from when it's our privacy fence all the way to the market. So Tom graciously said, come on out. So I'm not going to turn down a chance like that. So Tom, first, for us total newbies, what is this?
This is a Case IH combine harvester. I guess you would call it a combine. It is a 8240, the Class 8 machine for ones who recognize it. Who don't, that's just the size of a machine, kind of like a motor on a vehicle. Just says what class it is, what size it is, how much it can handle.
So are you, I know there's always the green crowd and the red crowd. Are you a red crowd, or do you not care?
I'm a red combine, red tractors. We do have a Cat Challenger. We like them. They're easy to get up and they're easy to operate. We're kind of we buy what works. We're not necessarily too one color. We buy what works.
Buy what works. That's.
I do prefer Case combines over anything else because, and I can explain that later in the video why that is, because they have developed something 40 some years ago that now everybody has. So
I've got the corn in the backyard, and I see it come by. I'm gonna spin this around, folks, so I can get in on Tom and the machine. So where does the corn go? I see you run, and how many rows can you knock down at a time?
Well, this is a 12 row. We are 22-inch spacing, so our corn rows are 22 inches apart. It's just the row spacing. A lot of common is 30 or 20 or 22. First, the corn, we obviously planted, but when we come through with this, the corn comes in here. These things spin in here. They're cutting knives. They cut the stem off.
Okay.
And these up in here, Rich, if you want to get in here, this pulls the whole stem and everything down, and you want just the cob to come in as best you can.
So these are grabbing the cob?
Yep.
Okay.
The cob hits here, the cob goes in, it goes up underneath the machine, right where Rich and I will be sitting later in the video. There's a big spinning drum in there that spins and that shells the kernels off the cob.
Okay.
All of this is a 12 head. I'm doing this at 5.5 miles an hour. Each truckload holds 1,000 bushels, and I'm doing roughly four truckloads an hour.
We've got the big truck out here. How
This,
many an hour?
Roughly 3 to 4 truckloads an hour.
Okay.
3 truckloads an hour. I suppose it's common. There is machines that do more than that. There's some machines bred for doing up to 6,000 an hour. They have all different size machines. This is what fits our operation.
So it's still on the cob when it's entering here.
Yep.
And it gets shelled.
It gets shelled, and right where those white panels are, is a spinning drum. And there's cages around it, and it spins around and it shells all the kernels off. As it comes in the back, then there's what is called a sieve. It's like a flour sieve. It sits there, it shakes, and there's a fan underneath that blows. It blows the trash up, and the kernel sits on the bottom. It goes through this flour sieve down. There's 2 sets of them to get down. Right here. Goes up to my hopper, and everything goes out the back.
So hopefully we're not too loud here for everybody. So how much? Well, maybe it is too loud. We're gonna cut and go right back up front. I wanted to get us away from the noise. Hopefully you could hear all that. This is something I know nothing about. So I guess it depends on the length of your row, but about how much can you hold in there corn before you extend, I don't know what you're extending there, and put it into the other machine over there?
This hopper on this machine is probably about 350 bushels or so.
Okay.
So, I guess depends on your yield and depends on your field size, how far you can go. You get pretty good at figuring that out once you run it for a while. There is sensors in there telling me I'm 3/4 full and
Okay.
full.
And then
So-
your partner's got to be driving 5 miles an hour right with you.
Yep.
So you're not overshooting. He knows the exact distance.
Right.
Or do you have a camera up on the arm that
I have
comes over? So you
I have
can-
a camera on the end of my auger, sticks out.
Auger,
That's
okay.
just to sit, show me where I'm at.
Okay.
But my dump cart is over here. My dump cart operator knows where to drive,
And then
how fast to drive. There's the Challenger that we like
And then
to use,
he fills that up and then runs over to your truck and
Yep.
dumps in there while you just keep going.
Yep. The biggest thing is I don't want to stop because if I stop, everything stops. We
Yep.
want to get corn.
Production is production.
Right, and on a year like this, it's dry. You think we've got a lot of time, but the stalks are very brittle because it was a drought all year. They are still standing really good, which is a blessing. But you don't want it to sit and start getting a heavy wind.
Yep.
A couple weeks ago, we had a wind to Rich that you probably were part of. That was a 50-mile-an-hour wind for about 5 minutes, and we thought we were going to have broken over corn because the stalks are that
Was
brittle.
How about the moisture? Now we've talked from our garden about September, 0.23 inches of rain. So far in October, it's been like 200s. Is that good or bad?
Rain's always a good thing. The ground is extremely dry, making tillage very difficult. Of course, the surplus, the ground, the water holding capacity is really low right now, or it's really high right now because the ground is dry.
Yep.
You dig down and it's dry all the way down. So we need to resupply the surplus for next year's crop as best we can. Of course, rain's always a good thing. This time of year,
maybe this weekend. Maybe.
This year, this time of year, it's always an unnecessary evil. Rains, we can't run.
Yep.
But as dry as it is, I'd love to have a couple days of a rain day, and just because the ground needs it. Everybody needs it, not
Yep.
just the ground. But
So rain is bad. What about 4 inches
rain
of
is good.
snow? Or
Rain is
rain is good. What about 4 inches of snow? That doesn't hold you up at all, does it?
yeah, it does. The snow actually sits on the kernels.
Oh,
on
okay,
the
yeah.
top, and then it can actually plug the machine up.
Okay.
Actually, they call it freezing the machine up. So
Well, everybody's showing up. The other trucks are showing up. Let's. We're gonna jump in, and I'm gonna take a couple laps with Tom, and we'll hit a couple other discussions while we're up there. All right, we're inside. This thing is riding as smooth as silk. I was expecting a bunch of bumps, and this thing rides really smooth. The big tracks work well. I was asking Tom about the computer because everything's so computerized, but let me see if I can spin around here a little bit, and maybe you can run us through what you see.
So on my computer, this runs my whole machine. It's got a toolbox, it's got layouts, and tells me how many hours I need to service. If I have to make any adjustments, it's all in here. This also runs my whole machine. So I'm talking, remember the big drum I'm talking about? That's called the rotor.
Yep.
The cage around it is called the concave, and this controls everything. Everything is automated behind, not automated. I can control everything from in here. The newer version of this machine is now automated, where it sets itself. You tell it what you want it to do, and it'll do it. But this sets everything from my sieves to my fan, my rotor, my concave.
This does not drive the machine, though. This does not drive the combine.
No, I could get something on my corn head to use auto steering corn, but
Okay.
I do not.
Okay.
But I do use it in beans. If any of the viewers drive by a bean field and see it cut at an angle and it looks perfectly straight, they do that just for a ride.
Okay.
Bean head rides better. It cuts closer to the ground at an angle. So
And then what's the other screen showing?
that's just another, also another version of this. This is just for our record keeping, showing where our yield is. It shows our planting data, our yield, our spraying data, all that stuff overlays. So when we do trials of different things to see if it returns on investment, that helps it pick apart, shows the yield, keeps everything into a compact app. Actually, it's a field view, climate field view, and it.
So you've got data down to the
it's
half
down-
acre, or I mean,
It's down to it's down to the plant almost, if you want.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, it's down to 12 rows at a time.
Are you planting one variety of corn, or do you have separate varieties this year? And
we plant quite a few different varieties probably across our acres. I'd say probably 8 different hybrids, different maturity ranges. It's like everything else, one size doesn't fit all.
Yep.
And same with corn hybrids. Just because this hybrid's doing good here might not do good down the road. Different soil types. Some are geared for different
and I know nothing on this, gang. So maybe I'm asking some. If you're a real farmer, not driving the little lawnmower like I'm doing. I don't know. You probably, this is old hand. So let me spin it around because we're in motion now here.
So as you guys see, the corn's coming in, and right now, as dry as it is picking more than just the cob. So I'm actually making, the machine's got to work harder to get all the kernels separated.
How far the tines or the points down there, how far off the ground, or are they literally scraping the ground?
We're probably an inch or two from the ground.
Okay. Is there a sensor that does it? Or
Yep.
does that just kind of feel? Okay.
There's 3 sensors that hang under the corn head.
Okay,
That's a height sensor, so I haven't set the right at a certain height. This is a chopping corn head, so it stop chops as I'm going across the field, which saves us a pass, a fuel time where, plus we're driving anyway, we want to do more work as we can, as much as we can with each pass. Fuel is expensive, so you try to do it to limit the amount of fuel. As you see a spot right here, this spring we were a little wet at planting.
Is that what that is? That's a wet spot?
That just didn't grow right there for whatever reason. I really have no idea why it did not grow right there, but it did not grow right there.
And most of this, I kind of talk about our 8-foot privacy fence. Is that about, am I pretty close on these getting about 7-8 feet?
This year was probably 7-8 feet. Yeah, 6.5, 7 feet was probably average. Normal year is probably almost close to 10.
And the variety that you're planting, is it 1 ear per stalk, or is it
Now a
2?
corn plant can put out as many as 10, but it's geared towards 1 ear per plant.
Okay.
That's what we gear it towards.
And you spin around, are you spinning around a certain direction so then you can feed it into the other machine?
If I wasn't in row short rows right now, I would work in what I call a landing. I would break in the middle, and I would always work with my auger to the inside or to the harvesting area, so that I can always keep unloading as I'm going. But right now, it's such short, I'll just keep dumping. I'll just work off one side. I always dump with my auger to the outside.
So we're going to cut back here when we're going to be dumping here. All right, so we've made a couple of passes, and we're going to, Tom's spinning the auger out. The alarm went off that it's 3/4 full. Let me spin this around, and hopefully we can
5.2 this morning,
get my camera right. Hopefully I'm not in the way.
Nope, I got a camera.
Okay. So this is the, everybody's got to drive the same speed.
So, Rich, when I tell my dump cart operator to 5.2, I want to be able to move around in the dump cart to fill it. Now, I will get that thing full, but I do the filling. The dump cart operator does not. They drive the same speed.
He just does the speed, and then you move your
I
speed.
move around if I want to get to the front. I have the ability to.
Yep, you can see that.
Slow down and get to the back. I have the ability to.
Yeah, and one thing Tom was pointing out, there's a window behind us, so as we're filling up, you can see that it's, hopefully you can see that it's leaving, but that window was all full. Off the auger and out into the cart. So will one of your, if you're full here or 3/4 full, quarters?
Nope. So that will hold about 3 of my full hoppers.
Okay. So now
I'll dump on him probably 2 to 3 times, and then I'll send them up to the truck.
okay.
They go back to the east end, and then they will dump them back this way.
Back and forth, back and forth.
All day long.
How many? As a sorry, folks, I'm adjusting my camera the whole time here. So, as a young guy, how many seasons did it take you to really dial that in to get the points in the right spot where you're not missing rows or that I would think about my learning curve, and
You pick up on it pretty quick. Obviously, the younger you are, the quicker you pick up on it, but you pick up on it pretty quick. A couple pointers as I would look at the outside too.
Yep.
Stick my second snoot in between the outside two and outside row, and obviously the rest line out.
That's what you want. Okay,
Yep.
if you get that right. So,
And there's still times where I will go in a couple inches off and I'll make a mess. That's where Richard's girls love when I come in his field and I do that, because they get a lot of corn out of that.
if there's a few misses around our place, my girls do not mind. They came in last night, you know, and I went out and looked, and I didn't see a lot of corn, but they came in and their crop was just full. So they were loving life last night. So you're filling up the semis, then they take it back and auger it into. You've got some dryers.
Into a we call a holding bin, or some people call it a charge bin, a holding bin. That goes in there and then it goes into a dryer. So the kernels right now are 17.5 to 18% moisture, and we have to sell it under 15%.
Okay. So how long does it take you to
Going
dry?
from 17 to 15, it's going through the dryer really fast right now. So then it goes through the grain dryer using propane burner, heats it up, cools it back down, and puts it into a storage bin. From the storage bin there, then we will sell it either to River Terminal in Savage or an ethanol plant, local ethanol plant, 40 to 50 miles away, which gets used for ethanol, obviously, or the byproduct of ethanol is dry distilled grains, which makes great cattle and hog feed.
So they'll take it down to Nebraska or something you were saying,
Yeah,
or
they load in Savage area. They load trains or barges. They go wherever it's sold to, a Cargill, stuff like that. We sell to.
and if you're wondering, Savage is southern metro Minneapolis, St. Paul, a river town right near here, just north of us. So if you don't know what Savage is.
Yeah, so I call it Savage. At Cargill, there's 3 different grain facilities there. Our soybeans go to Mankato to be processed into soybean oil,
Which is just south of us, about a half an hour.
soybean oil, or and then soybean meal, which is also a feed for an animal, and that's how we use our products more than just growing corn and selling it. It goes to a lot of different areas.
So you said Nebraska's been really poor with their harvest this year because of the weather.
Yeah.
So a lot of our stuff's going down for feed.
A lot of they're selling train load cars. That's where I'm told it's going to. I don't really know how true that is. That's just from what the person who's selling corn or buying my corn is telling me, that it's going south and west is what he tells me. So I just know Nebraska and Kansas area have been really dry. They're big cattle producing areas.
Yep.
So their cattle producers are probably looking for corn right now. That's what I'm guessing. Just knowing what the market's telling us.
Let me spin this around. I don't know if anybody out there has been in a combine. Probably a few of you have, but quite fun. It rides really smooth compared to what I thought you'd be bouncing around. And
as you notice, it's very quiet.
Very
Obviously,
quiet.
the newer machines are very quiet compared to the older ones, much like cars are much quieter now than they were 30 years ago also. When you look at the amount of corn coming in here, I'm going 5.5 miles an hour, and it's shelling every kernel off clean, every kernel off the top clean. It's spitting out the back, and you can look over there, that's what comes on the back of the machine. Back of the machine, underneath my machine.
Yeah, when it having lived near the harvest, when it comes out the back end, it is just fluffy, and then now you'll come and turn this field over then to bring that down, compost it for next year.
Yeah, we'll come in here and we did try do a little no-till on some fields where we will not till it. The stalks will break down, but we do come through and do some tillage on it. Mainly it's the thin dirt on top. Help get it to decompose, and also help warm the soil up in the spring. As we all know, the darker the ground or the darker anything like in your car, it attracts heat. Dark colors attract heat, so you want it to warm up, and that's our main goal with doing a little tillage, is help warm up and dry it out after the frost in winter. The W word that Rich doesn't like.
I do not want winter. Not ready for it yet. So we're taking another pass. So it's a pass down, and when you're heading down, you're filling up. And then after 3 passes, he's going to go fill up the truck then.
Yeah, when I get a cart load, then he'll fill up the truck. Every time is different, but yeah, when I'll just go and get the cart full, and then I'll send him up to the truck.
So, folks, I appreciate you, Tom. I appreciate you letting us ride along. This is something I've never been a part of. Folks, if you've got questions, Tom's been watching some of the videos, and if you got questions about this, the machine, how it works, corn, whatever, throw those comments down below, and I'll see if we can get an answer from Tom in between, harvests and all that. But we appreciate you watching. So thanks for taking us along.
No problem. Thanks for riding with.
All right, everybody. Take care. Have a good week. There they go. Well, you know what? I just spent the better part of an hour riding along with Tom, and really have an appreciation for some of the scale. We're just gardeners compared to real farmers. It was just so interesting to see how the machines work, but also kind of hear about farming and the challenges. And Tom hit a rock the other day, and it got caught up and knocked a couple of pieces, and he had to get some replacement parts. And they're on a schedule, and they want to get things harvested, and that put him back half a day, or he lost some time in the field. But just those challenges that are out there, and talked about a lot of things, corn prices, and what the product is, what the corn and soybeans are used for. And it's just fascinating for me to learn a new industry, but just to talk to someone whose entire family he's a third or fourth generation farmer. So these fields and his farm has been in his name in the family name for several generations, for 70, 80 years. It's just a great story. A lot of fun to ride along and see how the machines work, but also kind of how the industry works. So hopefully you found this interesting. Like I said before, if you got some questions, put them down below. Tom's said he's gonna let me ride along in the spring. I'd like to see the front end, as he's planting beans or corn, some of that. But I don't know, standing out here by the privacy fence one more time before this is all gone. He'll knock this back today. So thanks everybody for watching. Really appreciate something totally out of the norm, but Tom made the offer and I didn't want to let this pass. So everybody have a great week. Take care.